warm welcome to readers and viewers of DNA. My name is Asher, and I'm hosting 2025's Heads of Missions interviews. We would like to thank our venue sponsor, Mandai Wildlife Group, for providing these lovely premises. Shall we begin? Japan, famous for its unique blend of ancient traditions and modern innovations, has been a favorite destination for many a tourist through the years. Its cuisine has indulged many a pleasured palate, while on a personal note, Japanese films and anime have brought much joy and much tears. We are pleased to welcome His Excellency Ishikawa Hiroshi, Japanese Ambassador to the Republic of Singapore. Welcome. Excellency, is this your first post as a head of mission? What has your experience been like as head of mission in Singapore, both personally and professionally?
Yeah, thank you for making that kind of question to me. I came to Singapore October 22. So the timing was very lucky for me because the so-called restrictions with regard to COVID-19 were almost lifted at the time. So many visits from Japan and so from Singapore. Mutual visits, very frequent and vibrant. And at the same time, so-called diplomatic activities we could launch very vibrantly here in Singapore. Yeah.
All right. Now, how would you describe current Japanese-Singapore relations, and what exciting future areas of cooperation do you foresee?
Just one word, excellent. Excellent relationship between the two countries. With regard to the future prospect of the bilateral relationship, there are several areas such as cooperation on green economy, cooperation on digitalization, and cooperation on national defense, and cooperation on, for example, startups. So I think there are a number of potential area in which the both countries will further promote our relations.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that. Now, Ambassador, both your country and Singapore have a respect for nature ingrained into our respective cultures. What similarities and differences could you draw between the two cultures' love for the natural world?
I think both Singaporeans and Japanese love, how to say, the nature. And for my residence is just located next to Botanic Garden. So every morning, my wife and I sometimes walk around in the Botanic Garden or jogging over there. And tropical plants are quite different from Japan, but very, very lovely kind of atmosphere. In Japan, a little bit different from Singapore because we have 4 seasons. So nature is a little bit different from Singapore. And also our Japanese people, we have a kind of Shinto. It's a religion. And the Shinto has a very deep relation with the worship towards nature. So I think this is one of the feature of the Japanese people vis-a-vis nature.
I happen to know the botanical gardens quite well as well. Maybe one day we'll meet each other on our walks. Now, Japan is one of the top destinations for Singaporeans. What are some must-visit places in Japan that offer unique cultural and natural experiences? Could you suggest some out-of-the-box destinations in Japan?
It's a very difficult question for me to answer because after my arrival to Singapore, so many local government governors came to Singapore to promote their agricultural products as well as inbound tourism. So these kind of Japanese prefectures seems to be competing each other to try to invite, foreign tourists to their places. So if I mention some specific place, maybe that might provoke some problem. But having said that, I have 2 places. That is, I have a very personal kind of connection to these places. So maybe local governors may forgive me making this kind of comment. One place is Yanaka. Yanaka in Tokyo. Actually, I live there. And Yanaka is a very kind of Japanese old downtown. And you can sense a kind of atmosphere of Edo era. Edo era is a 17th to 19th century. And there are so many temples, including Zen Shoan. Zen Shoan is famous for the Zen Buddhism temple, where, late Prime Minister Nakasone or late Prime Minister Abe sometimes went there to sit down and for mediation. So anyway, I recommend Singaporeans or other non-Singaporean also visit Yanaka area in Tokyo. Second place is Koyasan. Have you heard of it?
No, I have not.
Okay, Koyasan is located in Wakayama Prefecture, so southern part of Osaka. And Koyasan is a kind of so-called Buddhist town. And it's also designated as a, the UNESCO's, World Heritage. And it's, you can, if you go there, you can feel the atmosphere of very sacred, holy, that kind of, atmosphere. And there are so many tombs and cemeteries. Japan is very famous, for example, shoguns, where warlords are buried. And I think, this is another place I can recommend for you to go. Yeah.
I can tell the ambassador is quite attracted to the more traditional type of destinations. Ambassador, how does Japan's foreign policy shape your diplomatic mission? And what aspects of it are you most proud of?
Yes, as a Japanese ambassador to Singapore, my main mission is to improve the bilateral relationship. Talking about our bilateral relationship, if back to some history, actually Japan has a kind of a negative history here in Singapore. During the World War, Japan, occupied Singapore. And nevertheless, I was a bit surprised to know that after arriving at Singapore, so many Singaporeans, love Japan. So maybe thanks to our predecessors or former generations, politicians or business people or ordinary people, mutual kind of interaction and and contribution from Japan side to Singapore national building, maybe some kind of trust has been established among the Singaporeans. And so famous kind of survey of ICIAS every year, published by ICIAS. And according to this survey, Japan is the most trusted country among the, big countries around the world, for not only for Singaporeans, but also for ASEAN people as a whole. So I think this is a very, very important asset for Japan. So as an ambassador, Japanese ambassador here in Singapore, I try to preserve, maintain this kind of trust from a Singaporean, and in the future, I need to further, improve this kind of relation.
Well, I wish you all the best in this endeavor. Ambassador, given the strong emphasis on education in both countries, how can educational institutions in Japan and Singapore collaborate to benefit students and researchers?
Yes, I think both Singapore and Japan look upon the importance of the education, and actually more than 200 agreements between Singapore universities and Japanese universities now exist. So to be more accurate, I think 2037 agreements with regard to either exchange program or, research collaboration and so on. So I think this kind of university to university cooperation is very, very precious for the two countries. And on top of that, new area, that is a startup. For example, Nagoya University, they have their office in block 71, and now the block 71 is planning to establish their office in Aichi Prefecture. So this kind of university to university or university to startup, these kinds of collaboration, well, we can expect to further promoted in the future.
Thank you so much for sharing all these things. It's been a pleasure interviewing you.
Thank you so much.
You're
Nice to
welcome.
meet you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you. Thank you. Thank you. Ashley.